Mary, I'm
We're having a market and it's taking 3 or 4 years to get going. That's why I wanted to have this somewhere that's already small.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I could just bow our head. Our Father, the author of the universe, I thank you for this day and all these gracious servants that are here to serve mankind. I pray that today they will go out and give someone a piece of themselves to comfort them and guide them. I pray, Lord, that this whole Rotary community will get the gift of the life and the love that they deserve. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
the things we think, say, and do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
So, Mary, you got a Rotary moment?
I do, actually. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me that well, but I'm not a Christmas person, but certain things for Christmas I love a lot. I don't run around and, oh, yay, Mr. Presents. And I'm just not that person, but I love doing earrings and, you know, all the things of Christmas delight. But our Christmas breakfast made me smile and feel so wonderful that day. And that was a well done, so thank you.
Chuck, we got a Sergeant Arms report this morning?
Yeah, thank you, Dan. We have 43 Rotarians in attendance today, including 4 visiting Rotarians. We have Dave McCoy from High Point Rotary. We have Justin Plummer from Guilford Rotary. We have Zach Engel from Summit. And Troy Thie from Crescent. And I wasn't there last night, but I believe she was visiting at the function last night. Judy Brumley, who's a guest, she couldn't be here today, but Darlene Leonard, Judy is here as a guest of Darlene Leonard. Judy, where are you?
All right, there's a lot of other clubs in here this morning. Welcome, and nobody talked about secret recipes, all right? Ashley, we have a health and happiness report today? No? Everybody's good? Mouthful? Dale, how about birthdays, anniversaries?
Yes, I have 2 weeks to catch up on. Last week, Blake Hunt had birthday on the 22nd, and David Crabtree had his 4th year on the 19th. Danny and Mary Kay Farley on the 22nd. They're married 22 years. And this morning, on the 24th, Sarah Doggett will have her birthday. Dennis Marcotte will have his birthday on the 29th. David Crabtree will have his birthday on the 31st. And for club anniversaries, Dennis Marcotte on February 1st will have his 10th anniversary. And Chip Vale on the 24th will have his 24th anniversary. And I have asked Lawrence Mann to join us. He's a longtime honorary member of our club. And on February 1st, he will have had 45 years in Rotary.
Can you stand up, Lawrence?
Oh, yeah!
Give me something else. How
about a brick?
Buster, it reminds me of something I saw on Facebook this week. It said, if you want to know who loves you more, your dog or your wife, lock them both in the trunk and see which one's happy when you let them out. A couple of announcements. You guys know about the Globetrotters. Shoot me a note if you want to go. I'm compiling a list. It'll be a lot of fun. My grandkids are excited about it. I need to know how many are going by March 1, so you got a little time to rally your troops. It'll be another fun, it's kind of like ballpark, fun thing to do together. Beth Sheffield is taking a leave of absence for a quarter, so if you don't see Beth here, we'll see her at 5:05s and that sort of thing. Any other announcements? And the board has approved a mission statement for the foundation. We'll be publishing that here soon. I think Chris Justice headed that up and did a fantastic job. Any other announcements this morning? Buster, we have any happy dollars this morning?
Yeehaw! We're gonna get a bunch today. Panthers, baby, come on! Okay, there you go.
This is not Panthers, but go Panthers. This shout out is to my friend and neighbor Mike Allen, who in the big snow of this week, I called my father-in-law and said I'll be down in a little bit to shovel your driveway, and he said, well, Mike Allen is out there doing it.
I didn't know this was available.
My father-in-law said, well, James is coming down, and I understand. Mike said, well, he's much older than I, so let me do it.
It's true.
Thank you,
Even though
buddy.
you're not.
Appreciate it.
I got two. First, we all remember, I hope, that for the coming school year, we're going to sponsor an exchange student, an outbound student. Around this time of the year, they start to match the supply and demand. That means that every student has to basically list 5 countries in order of preference. And the good news is that the student they're going to send got her first country of choice assigned, so it's really happy. It's going to the beautiful country of Finland, not like the cold and the snow. So, very good news. Again, also a little bit of a reminder, which I keep pestering people with. You have to look at Erica, right? We have to find host parents. Because we also have to host the student later when the next school year starts. That's my first. Second dollar, I was in Europe the last couple of weeks. The good news and bad news, I was stuck for a weekend between meetings, so that gave me a chance to visit the old country. So I went to the Netherlands, visit the family. So all kinds of new things. I saw people I didn't see for a long time, so that was really fun.
I've got 2, because oil has gone down, I can put in a 5, and it saves a net 0. I know most of y'all have Christmas packed up and in the attic, but I just wanted to reach back and tell you something. This is a happy dollar for Randy. So we didn't put up a real tree until very, very late. Actually, we didn't even get it up. But because of the Today Show coming, we had to have a tree in the living room on November 22nd. And so that delayed going out to Sunnyside Farms to get a tree. Well, we finally got out there because the wife was so upset that we didn't have a real tree. We finally got out there 2 days before Christmas and found the most gorgeous tree in the plantation. Brought it home, I put the stand on it, got it all leveled up, because things were so busy, we never got it inside the house. I kept saying, tomorrow, honey, tomorrow, tomorrow. Well, that tree is still on the patio. We never got it inside. I did get it decorated and lit up, and I want to say that's the freshest tree on the mountains of North Carolina. It has not dropped 100 needles, and it is still as fresh as if it came out of the mountains. The second one is for Lawrence Mann. It's not that unusual, Buster, for Lawrence to be at breakfast, because when he's not here, he's down at Smith Street Diner almost every day.
Wait.
You talk about shoveling snow. As soon as it stopped, my wife said, come on, we're going over to my parents' house. We got to get their driveway cleared. Her dad's 85. She said, if we don't do it, he'll try. So we went over there and shoveled the driveway. It didn't take that long. Came up pretty quick. And I got home. My driveway was completely cleared. My neighbors was cleared. People across the street was cleared. My other neighbors were cleared. Because I've got a neighbor that has a tractor. And it took him about 20 minutes to do every driveway. So every year I thank him graciously for doing our driveway.
Good morning, everybody.
It's not often I come to you with an ask of help, but when I do, it's usually for a cause bigger than me or something that I can't do on my own. If you look on your table, you'll find some information about Enduring Gratitude. And Enduring Gratitude is a charity that I and 6 other people started in 2008. And what we do with Enduring Gratitude is we take wounded veterans from the state of North Carolina, and it can be, we've had to expand it because we had a hard time getting veterans, from Vietnam War veterans all the way through 6 weeks ago, kind of veterans. And we've had guys, the guys that are in Stumpy's Guns down in Swan Quarter, North Carolina. Between the 2 of them, they have 1 leg and no feet, okay? So those are the kind of people we're talking about, and they run a small business, and they're doing very well. On the other end of the scale, Porter Halliburton, who spent 7.5 years in the Hanoi Hilton, which is a little longer than John McCain did. He's our keynote speaker, and he's been an honored guest of ours several times. And everybody in between in the military. This year, we have consumer confidence at a 5-year low, and donations are down, even though it's a great cause. And so I come to you with an ask today, because we're about $20,000 short. Our budget's $55,000. We've got a week and a half to go. If you could, take a look. It's a wonderful cause. It makes things, these guys, these people, these women, there's women too, they make what we do in our lives possible. And I can't do it all. I would ask for your help. Thank you.
Jeff, is there a website also?
There is, enduringgratitude.org, and we accept all kinds of credit cards. I did get a complaint. Somebody said, well, gosh, why are you raising money if you have books like this? John T., the guy who put this out and accepts the money, and his wife's our CPA. This is his business, and he prints up 4,500 for these, and thank you for reminding me too. There are not many pictures of our sponsors in here, and Darlene and several other people have been big sponsors in times past. Next year, when this comes out, after this comes out in March, we'll have much better pictures and sponsor coverage, and this will be something that you put on a coffee table or in your office. And if you sponsor, you'll be in here somehow or another, your company logo or whatever. Thank you. But enduringgratitude.org, it's a great cause. I would greatly appreciate any help. Go ahead.
Well, on a much smaller scale, I have Enduring Gratitude because this afternoon some folks at the courthouse have put together a reception for me in honor of my 17 years of judicial service, which ended this week. At 3 o'clock, but Dan, to answer your survey, I'm not prepared to say that I'm retired. So we got to find something else to do. And by the way, the governor's folks tell me they are going to appoint me to be an emergency judge, which means I still can't sell raffle tickets.
Was that why you accepted? What kind of contribution do you have to make to get that?
RI has a special category for that.
Mine is all about what you should do on Valentine's weekend to treat your sweetie. JDRF is having its annual gala Saturday, Feb. 13 at the Corey Convention Center. Kelly Harrell and his group are doing a beautiful job. We're honoring the fresh market. We have at least 500 auction items, something for everybody. We really treat you nice, nice wine, food, and the whole 9 yards. So I would love to have you come Feb. 13. We expect to have 800 to 900 folks there in attendance, and we hope to raise over $1 million for diabetes research.
Wow, good deal. Fantastic.
I don't have a happy dollar, but I have 4 quarters.
Hey, Dan's the same.
So I'm excited because today is actually my 3rd year work anniversary, and I am still alive. So.
I got one bus. This is for Cheryl David. Cheryl put on a new member orientation last night that was so good I have decided to join. It was really fantastic job. Also, before I forget, everybody ordered cookbooks like 2 years ago. They're here. If you forgot if you ordered a cookbook, your name is on a list in here. If you think you ordered a cookbook and your name's not on the list, there's not a cookbook for you. So just grab them after the meeting.
But if you got a bill for the cookbook,
you got a bill for the cookbook, you're welcome to get
Well, you know, with all the excitement about the Panthers, and there's this story about how the NFL was going to start hiring female referees, And Grandpappy Lewis said, you know, I don't think that's such a good idea. He said, they'll be throwing flags for things that happened 3 years ago. I was sitting between two women.
Tommy, we're gonna want to edit this tape today. Dave McCoy, you want to follow that?
No.
I'm going to introduce Dave McCoy, our past district governor. He's going to talk about Paul Harris Society. Dave, thanks for being here.
It is great to be here. I will say, Dan and Buster, I think you're in a lot of trouble with the women in this club. But 3 years from now, we'll get over it, Buster. I have a wonderful job in the district. I'm chairman of the Paul Harris Society, and it gives me a great opportunity to go around and talk about the Paul Harris Society and acknowledge those new Paul Harris Society members. So what is a Paul Harris Society member? It is a Rotarian who pledges to give a minimum of $1,000 a year. And last year, thank you, Mike, Mike Conrad challenged me to bring in 50 new Paul Harris Society members. I didn't do it. The members did it. We ended up with 51 new Paul Harris Society members. And it was just getting the word out, explaining what it is, how easy it is, $85 a month with RI Direct. We make it user-friendly. Well, this year, Mike was a little more sympathetic and compassionate. The goal was 30. And I'm here to acknowledge and recognize the first new Paul Harris Society member for this year. Now here we are 6 months into the year, and I'm just getting around. So for that, Dan, I certainly apologize. But if you will stand, I'd like for you to, I'd like to offer congratulations to you. And here is your insignia that gets worn with your Rotary pin, which I realize you're not wearing.
It's on my jacket.
Oh, it's on your jacket. Oh, okay. Somewhere.
Watch my left.
And your certificate. Your pin is on the Paul Harris Society banner, along with the other 5. And I'd like to take this opportunity for the existing Paul Harris Society members in the Gate City Club to get a little exercise and stand. So far, out of the 30 new Paul Harris Society member challenge, we're at 21 right now, and I think as of by noon today, there will be 22, Mike. So we're there, and we will definitely exceed it. Less than 3% of Rotarians are Paul Harris Society members, but it constitutes over 35% of the annual giving to the Rotary Foundation. These individuals realize and acknowledge the importance of the Rotary Foundation and what it does in our communities and around the world. Without the foundation, we would not be able to do what we do as Rotarians. There is no way we could. So I would entertain and be glad to talk with anybody who is wanting to do and step forward to do more for the foundation. And we make it user-friendly. It can be done any number of different ways. So please feel free to give get in touch with me. I have applications with me.
And the only thing I'd like to say, I'd just like to acknowledge what Dave does for our district. As you can tell, he has the passion for what he does and for what the good that we do as Rotarians, not only in our community, but around the world. And that $1,000, it's incredible what it will do in some of these countries, and where it goes really a long way. So, but he's done a yeoman's job, and you put a challenge on him, and he really goes for it. So I just want to thank him and for all of us as Rotarians in District 7690 for what you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Let me also say, Dave makes it super easy. It is painless. He just comes right out of your bank account. You never even know it's there. And Dave has been great about helping me get started with it. Chip can handle this on our end from our club as well. So if I get stuck, this all worked 20 minutes ago. If I get stuck, we go. This is like in a rock concert when they say we're going to play something from the new album. Everybody does leave now. Go on. Okay, this will work. This will work. So I apologize to everybody who's telling my story for I don't know how many times, but there are a few folks that haven't heard it. As you all know, I'm just back from Vietnam, and this got started back in 2002. Judy and I brought Katie home. She was 5 years old, and that was a big deal. And we had no idea. I remember leaving Vietnam going, wow, I'll never go back there. That was just something really experienced. But Katie started speaking English in just a few weeks, and about 2 months after she was here, she broke down and she was sobbing, and we said, what's the problem? She had a tear the whole time. She thought she was kind of going on a trip, but she was ready to go back to Vietnam. And I explained, hey, you're sort of here for the long haul. And I said, but I promise I'll take you back. And she said, well, I want to help my family. And I said, okay, well, what would you like to do? Now, again, I'm talking to a 5-year-old who's learned to speak English 2 months ago. She says, I want to build him a house. And I was like, well, that really wasn't in the plan. So with all my wisdom, I said, well, Katie, houses cost a lot of money. And she says, well, how much money? And I said, well, I don't know how much they cost in Vietnam, but I'm sure it's a lot. And she said, well, I want to know how much they cost. So we went, and Judy did this. She called Carolina Adoption. They said, well, there's a guy in Winston-Salem that builds houses in Vietnam. And I'm like, oh, you're kidding. So we talked to Ben Wilson. He says, no, I built houses in central Vietnam. Katie's family's way up on the border of China, and we don't go up there. And I said, okay, problem solved. He says, but I'll do it. Okay. So I come back to Katie and said, Ben Wilson says he will build you a house up there, and they cost about $800 where we build in Da Nang, but up there it's going to cost 3 or 4 times that much. Katie says, okay. How do I answer? So now I need $3,500. So what are you going to do? She says, you get a job. She says, you're first grade. So, okay, what's she going to do? She said, got a job modeling. Okay. She went out and she made $3,500 in a week modeling for American Girl magazine. So she came back, I got my check, where's my house? So I guess where the story is going, just don't think you can bluff a 5 or 6 year old. So this is Katie coming home from Vietnam. She took things well in hand. But the house you saw earlier, can you go back now? That's not part of the slideshow. Anyway, the house that was up there, the little house on the side was the house that Katie was born in. She had 7 siblings, mom, dad, grandmother, and the house was about, I don't know, 10 square meters. No electricity, no running water, no plumbing, nothing. So the house next to it was the house that Katie built for her family. And that was the impetus of us getting involved with Children in Vietnam. So we jump forward to Rotary's involvement. If you can go next one. Okay, well, let me talk a little bit about Katie's family. This was a couple of weeks ago. This is Katie's mom and dad. This was her reunion with them. This is her 3rd trip back, my 8th trip back, I think. So,
is that Katie?
That's Katie in the middle. Yeah. She's graduated from flying airplanes. So, if you'll go on, I'll do a little more. This is some of Katie's siblings and my wife Judy, and we always have photo bombers. I don't know who the two people on the bottom right are. They just, just showed up. This is a school that I like to go to. It's right outside. It's in Katie's Village, right outside our house, and the kids are just. I'm terrifying until I get my camera out, and then it's everybody wants to get the picture. And just, I wish I was a little better shot of the neighbors and whatnot. It's just you playing with the kids. That's why I go. And that's one of Katie's siblings. Two, she works for Samsung now. And I was asking her, she's quality control. I said, so what's better, Samsung or iPhone? She's iPhone. That's Katie's sister, Line, and that's where all of our meals come from. They turned the old house into a kitchen. And
So Dan, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
When Katie came to your family when she was 5, I mean, did it go through an adoption agency, or, I mean, how did all that take place?
my golden retriever ate the thumb out of my glove, so out of my motorcycle glove. So I took a detour one morning to buy a new pair of gloves. And coming out of the motorcycle shop, I got run over. And after that was all settled, we had a check that we hadn't planned on having from an insurance settlement. And I was like, I was thinking new motorcycle, and Judy was thinking little Vietnamese girl. So I don't have a motorcycle. So yeah, we went through Carolina adoption, went real fast. We got started in the fall of 2001, and Katie came home in August of 2002. So it's been long.
But is that a normal thing where she can go back and find her parents and?
At that time, it was a really tough time in Katie's Village. 17 children were adopted out of that village, and Katie's the only one that anybody ever heard from again. So no, it is not normal. We were able to do it, and I'm not much of a, I love to make plans, and I like what God says. What is it, the saying, God laughs while men plan. And it's great to have a plan, but it's also pretty cool to just go with it. And it felt right, and we went with it, and it's turned out, fabulously for Katie. She can't wait to get back to Vietnam as a volunteer. I mean, by the time we were done, she didn't speak Vietnamese when she left Vietnam. She spoke her village language, so she's learning Vietnamese now. And by the time we were done, 2 weeks, taxi driver's lost, and Katie's talking to him. I'm like, what the hell? I just learned to speak Vietnamese. So it's not usual. But anyway, this is just, I hope somebody here will go with me someday. This is what it looks like in Katie's Village, right down by the river. All right, let's start here. Let's jump into what Gate City Rotary is doing. Gate City Rotary has done multiple heart operations. Gate City Rotary has built a kindergarten. Gate City Rotary has worked on this Microline program, but there's grants on your table right now. And I'll email the club the global grant, because that's where this is all going. This is the direction. The global grant that we're proposing will support single moms. This mom here, this is her daughter. Her oldest son is in the university. 2 years ago, she was sleeping in a cemetery because her husband was so incredibly violent she couldn't go home. She finally went home to check on her children, and he beat her until and left her for dead, called her family to come get her body. And she survived that, and we were able to help extract her from her husband, and she had nothing. But she is a hard worker. And she said, we got her in our Empowering Women program, gave her a microloan. She built this business. She serves breakfast every morning at 4 o'clock and dinner at about 6 o'clock, and she works her tail off. Her son is a fantastic university scholar. She repaid the whole loan. This is a $500 loan that changed this woman's life. So the grant that we're proposing will do about 120 of these programs, these webinars. It's just a phenomenal story. They get a loan, they can come back and get a second loan if they want, but they pay back 40% of the loan, and the second loan they pay back 100% with a 6.6% interest. It's a fairly good return for a very small investment. The previous slide was the same situation. This lady wanted to start a nursery in her home. And you, what's it, 1, 2, 3, 14 kids sat down, and what are they, 2 years old? And they're just perfectly quiet, perfectly still, got all their food, waited for, okay, now you can eat. The manners were just phenomenal. But she is, gosh, where is she? Yeah, this is the lady right here. And they're so clever. These women, they're sort of oftentimes done with men. And she said she had the phone number of the nursery school up on the building, and she said the men were calling her. So she said she took down the phone number. The other lady had sort of the same problem with the men stopping for dinner on the way home from work. She'd fix them dinner, and they'd drink their wine and whatnot. And then they would say, I'm going to stay here. I don't want to go home. I've had too much to drink. And she said, you can stay here, but when you go to sleep, I'm going to pour boiling water on you. So nobody stays over. This is my very favorite project. Gate City Rotary, again, started this 4 years ago with a small district grant. We started, it was about $3,500. We selected these 25 young ladies when they were in the 6th grade. And they're the 25 poorest children in their village, and every one of them would have dropped out of school in 6th grade, every one of them. And we put them in this program where we mentor them, we tutor them. If they need a desk, a bicycle, so any kind of medical thing, we take care of that. And we make the parents sign a contract. As long as we take care of them, the kids stay in school. So the $3,500 Gate City district grant has morphed into about $70,000 has come on top of that. So the girls are now in the 9th grade, heading to high school, and the golf tournament has been funding them for the past 3 years. And we have, just with a modest golf tournament for the next 3 years, we'll be able to take all these girls all the way to college. I met with them. The first time I met with them, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? Not one of them had an idea about being anything. They couldn't just fathom being something. This time I have artists, I have doctors, I have, what else do we have? We have lots of policewomen. Oh, one girl, my star student, said she wanted to be a doctor, and then she changed her mind and she wanted to be a ballistics expert. Or, I don't know, it might have been holistic. There's a translation. One little girl, okay, this is great. There are 25 of them in this van. It was like Ringling Brothers and a Volkswagen. We took them to sort of a very lame version of Vietnam Disneyland, which obviously none of them had ever been to. Last year we took them out on an outing to a restaurant. None of them been to, we took them to Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's the only restaurant they'd ever been to. And gave them each $3, and I got letters from all of them. You could have given me $1 million, it would have been the same thing. It was just fantastic. This is really Rotary at work here. Katie went to RILA 2 years ago, learned some leadership skills, and she got the girls doing things that she had learned in RILA. So the girls are blindfolded and doing an exercise where one girl is pointing and another girl is driving, and the girl blindfolded is finding an object, and they had a big time doing it. It was a lot of fun. And that's our office in Da Nang. Going back, sorry, one more thing. That's all right. Hua, her name means happy. I met her when she was about 4. She is in the 2nd grade now. She has epilepsy and she is deaf. And again, thanks to Rotary, we had an early intervention for her. We got her some hearing aids. We got her into a special school, and her teacher was just bawling, thanking me for what had happened with that child 5 years ago. And she is really special. Yeah. So anyway, back to the grant. The grant is about $160,000. It's a big grant, and we have to find another club in Australia to help us with it. Mike's helping, Chip's helping, Cookie's helping. Hopefully John Spillman came back from San Diego. He's yet back yet with a contact in Australia. The deal is for a global grant, you have to have an in-country club sponsor. well, there are no clubs, there are no Rotary clubs in Vietnam. So RI said, if we could get a club close to Vietnam to help us sponsor. So we will get an Australian club involved this year. As soon as we get that inked, then we can begin the grant process. The grants are on the table, it's all ready to go. Gate City's piece of this $160,000 will be responsible for raising about $45,000 of it. There's about $10,000 in the bank already from Pig Stock. Pig Stock this year will be another $10,000, so that leaves us $25,000. There's 52 clubs in the district. 49 clubs. I intend to visit 49 clubs and ask them for a check. Gate City has surely supported everything that's come our way. It's time for us to reciprocate and get some clubs to buy into our program here. The last thing, the biggest picture of all is Rotary's not in Vietnam, and I believe this grant will be the very first global grant ever in Vietnam. Came out of Gate City Rotary, and my big picture hope is that this grant is a tool to get Rotary established in Vietnam again. It was there prior to 1975, but I would love to see us involved with having the first club in Vietnam. There's a little video on here I'll show, and then if anybody wants to talk about a question or whatnot, if that link works, we're good. Look at that. Yeah, this is fun. The rights to this music were donated and written for us. I'll sing it.
Chris, you better make it work.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
In the photo of the school, I saw the Vietnamese star and I saw the Russian hammer and sickle. And I'm wondering how much restrictions or cooperation you get with your program from those governments.
We get huge cooperation. And just like politicians everywhere in the world, every time we do something, they all show up to take credit. However, all of our programs tie the government in. If we start something, we will agree to start it, but the government has to agree to take it over. For instance, we have a program that's the Hope System of Care for disabled children. We will get the children stable and get the mothers educated how to take care of them, but after 3 years, the government gets the whole ticket for their care after that. So we have excellent participation. The Vietnamese government works really, really well with us. Vietnam, like so many other countries, there's a lot of greasing expected to happen at every level, and we made it clear 15 years ago that we're just not going to do that. So. Nothing yet?
Maybe I'll let's see if there's
Now, Dan, your idea is it for next Rotary year? Is this when you're going to submit this?
Yes. All we need is right now, as you see, it needs an Australian sponsor and we're good to go.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. We got a lot of friends in Australia.
We keep shaking the bushes.
Are the people in Vietnam willing to step up on the Rotary Club? You said they were there before '75 and follow.
I don't know, Doc. The business people that I know in Vietnam would work really, really well in this room. I feel like that Rotary is just perfect in Vietnam. It really, really is. As far as the people that were involved in Rotary pre-1975, I don't know.
Hey Dan, what's the ask of the club in Australia? What would they have to do?
The ask of the Club of Australia is really just to agree to be a partner. I mean, we certainly would like for them to be a partner with it financially, but all they have to do is say, yeah, we'll do it.
When you do a global grant, you need a host club, and that's a requirement. And because there's no Rotary in Vietnam, the host club will be in Australia. So it's just a matter of, abiding by the guidelines.
up over your head there, Chris.
You want to just send us the link?
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah.
What is the specific focus of the grant? Is there like we're gonna build a hospital, we're
Oh,
gonna
no, I'm
do-
sorry, that's an excellent question. This grant is a microloan grant, so it will take 120 women like the ones we just saw and do microloans for them. Let's watch this right here.
I love you dearly through here and there. What can I do to make you share? What can I do to make you care? The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. We've been together through battle wars, sending blows we shall remember. We came together, but we must first make amends that divides. Will you be my friend? The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the dark. I'll make my mark, I've got my spark. The world is harsh, I'm stuck in the
That's about 5 years old. I know all those children. We've served over 500,000 children now, but I know all of them, I think. Anyway, any other, yeah, Rusty.
So if we donate online, does that help go towards the grant, or is it better to give through the club?
Actually, I would prefer, if anybody wants to do something right now, to hold on to it until we have the grant and do it through the club. I hate to tell anybody not to give right now, but funding the grant is you're just going to quadruple your money when you put it in the grant.
Right.
So,
Well, it's a couple ways. We'll have to raise money, as Dan has said, as part of this, but as a global grant, then the district funds part of that, and then Rotary International funds part of it. So it all goes, what was Dave was saying, earlier about the more we give to the Rotary Foundation, the more that comes back to this district to be able to use for district grants and local grants, which we would use those dollars to support a grant like this. So it's really, it works in a lot of different ways.
So, and Guy, to answer your question, I started to answer it.
Well, I had a second part to it. So you did answer it. It funds microloans. So a loan means you get money back, right?
Right.
So this should ultimately become a revolving process that funds itself.
It does. Let me give you the math. We give a loan and we ask for 40% of it to come back with interest. All right. So let's say a lady wants to have the machine that they grind up sugarcane with to make the juice that's real popular. So we'll fund her raw materials. We'll fund her sugarcane machine, and then she'll pay it back with 6.5% interest over 2 years, I think. If she's successful in paying the loan back, then we will offer another loan, which she has to pay 100% back of, so she can expand her business. But the 40% that comes back, yes, we just keep recycling that. And eventually, because we don't get it all back and it spins down. When we started this, we started with the Ford Foundation grant. We had 150 women. So that's what we did, and we're still supporting this. This is about 4 years ago. The women are so appreciative of, more than the money, of the education and the fellowship. We send the women all out for a health check. It's part of it. None of them have ever been to the doctor before. It's just not on the radar. Because a doctor in Vietnam is supposed to be free, but it's not. You have to bribe a doctor in Vietnam. They're paid so little that it's free, but it's not free. So anyway, this would basically be doubling the size of the microloan program from 150 women. We'll add another 120 women. And you take a family that's making 50 cents a dollar, $1.50 a day, to $4 a day, and it changes the world.
And is there any dental care of these kids? One, two, one kid looked like it might have been a repaired palate lip, and three, I didn't see the decay between the anterior teeth that we used to see here in North Carolina 50, 60 years ago.
They don't drink iced tea in Vietnam.
No, I drink the Coke.
Yeah, there's no sugar in the orphanage. And if you go to an orphanage in Russia, the children's teeth are all horrible because they give them a lot of sugar. But we can't afford sugar, so it's not a problem. That's not a problem. We have several medical and dental programs that come through. The only one that COV works with, Facing the World, is just humongous facial tumors. We facilitate. We find the kids, and we arrange the transportation, and then we send them to England, and it's like 6 to 9 months over there, and it's $300,000 a piece. But the Facing the World, all we do is arrange it. We get them over, we get them a chaperone, we get them back and whatnot, and then all of our expenses are reimbursed by Facing the World. So it costs COV nothing to get these just incredible facial deformities fixed. I was there a few years ago, and a little girl sang for me, and there was before and after stuff, and you just couldn't imagine. The girl wouldn't leave her house, and now she wants to be saved.
One of the kids looked like he had a remarkably good cleft lip repair, unless I missed it.
No, I'm sure you're right.
Looked like
There's a lot of folks doing a lot of good things in Vietnam. We're just one small piece and one little part. John.
Dan, the cancers, is that a result of Agent Orange?
The cancers?
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, our whole program for Hope System of Care developed around the Agent Orange issue. We're in Da Nang. We dumped millions and millions and millions of gallons. Not just what we sprayed, we dumped it. So there is a huge and long and multi-generational impact from Agent Orange. We're seeing it 5 generations later with really major significant birth defects. There's a lot of good news. We're addressing it, and the U.S. government has kicked in $40 million to help continue to clean up some of the sites where we dumped. So it's just nasty stuff, and it stays around forever and ever and ever if you don't clean it up.
And we still get the jobs here. We've had a couple here in Greensboro died a number of years ago.
I had a niece born about 25 years ago with trisomy 13, and spina bifida. And my brother-in-law flew a great deal and was quite exposed. So we've lost somebody in our family that certainly was a result of Agent Orange. It kills over there, it kills over here. It's just nasty stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.